Metal Slug X!
Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at Metal Slug X for the PlayStation, which is a 2001 release from SNK. And not too long ago I reviewed the original Metal Slug for the Neo Geo CD, and I was going to review Metal Slug 2 also for the Neo Geo CD, but then it dawned on me that not so many people own Neo Geo consoles, but a lot of people own PlayStation consoles, and those people also deserve to experience the joy that is Metal Slug. So here we go with Metal Slug X, which is a game that's available to a much wider audience for a much lower price than its Neo Geo counterparts. And is it as good as playing on original hardware? Maybe not, but it is still a very fun game. Metal Slug X is basically just an upgraded version of Metal Slug 2, which itself was a step up from the original game with more characters and more weapons and more vehicles. You obviously get the original badass Metal Slug tank to cruise around in, but you also get this bipedal robot thing that's used for a couple of the boss battles, and better yet, you get a camel that has a couple of mounted machine guns on it, and I always thought that was super cool.
Heavy machine gun.
This game was also made more difficult than Metal Slug 2, with more enemies and bullets on screen at any one given time, but that's kind of balanced out by having more power-ups scattered around each level and more POWs to rescue, and also a number of issues with slowdown from Metal Slug 2 were fixed with the release of Metal Slug X. Other than that, it's still the same core Metal Slug gameplay. It's a crazy fun run and gun with lots of enemies and vehicles and absurd boss battles. It's just classic, probably my favorite run and gun series, and while this one isn't my favorite game in the series, that honor still goes to Metal Slug 3, just by virtue of the fact that it made a bunch of improvements over an already great game. Definitely make it worth owning, especially considering that there aren't very many games of this type on the PlayStation to begin with. The visuals in Metal Slug X are really great too, though they really aren't very different from the original Metal Slug or Metal Slug 2, but then again, this series pretty much always maintained the same look and overall visual style, which is fine because it's one I've always liked. It's very recognizable and kind of iconic of the series. I just always thought it was kind of funny how the designs of the characters in the actual game look nothing at all like the designs that are used for the covers, which is kind of like a traditional, almost photorealistic SNK kind of look. But again, that's fine. I've always really liked the visual style of the Metal Slug series. The soundtrack is also really good. For the most part, it's a lot of high energy tunes, but there are certain spots where the music is more subdued and even kind of creepy, especially like in the laboratory and in the pyramid with all the mummies. It changes the tone of the game up a little bit, but overall really good visuals and really good sound design, as is pretty typical for the Metal Slug series.
Okay. Machine gunning.
So I can recommend Metal Slug X on the PlayStation for fans of the series who maybe don't want to pay an arm and a leg to play Metal Slug on original Neo Geo hardware. This is a good alternative. Copies can be found on eBay for both North American and Japanese PlayStations, though I will say that the Japanese version is the cheaper option. It's usually no more than 20, maybe 30 bucks US, which I think is pretty reasonable. And in addition to this, there are other Metal Slug games available for the PS2 and the Xbox, so if you want to play Metal Slug, you're not restricted to just Neo Geo hardware. So if you're a fan of the series, or even if you're not, but you like run and gun action games, if you're a PlayStation owner, I would definitely recommend picking up Metal Slug X. It's an excellent game, and it would be a great way to get introduced to the series if you're not already a fan. Definitely check it out.